Hello, and in today's video, I would like to talk about can you ever reach high level fluency in Japanese? And the answer is definitely yes. You can really reach a high level fluency in Japanese without having to live in Japan. So first of all, what do I mean by high level fluency? Well, it's quite simple. It means that you're comfortable using Japanese. That's it. What do I mean by being comfortable using Japanese? It does not mean that you know everything. It only means that, for example, if there's a problem or if there's something you don't understand, then you don't mind asking that in Japanese. And that's it. Actually, it is the goal of learning a new language. The goal is communication and not perfection. Actually, I've made a video about that, so if you haven't seen that, you can watch right now. But about high-level fluency, if someone were to ask me, how long does it really take to be really high fluent in a very distant language like Japanese? The honest answer, and it's only based on my own experience, I would say 5 years. I know 5 years sound a lot, but it also makes a lot of sense. Why? Because first of all, Japanese is completely different from my mother tongue, which is Luxembourgish. Well, actually I'm bilingual. Actually, I am native in Luxembourg in French. And since it's so different from my mother tongues, I had to invest a lot of time in learning Japanese. But I've already made a video about how you can reach a high level of, I would say, not fluency, but how you can really reach a very good level Japanese within 18 months. I've made 3 videos about that. If you hadn't watched it, I would say you can watch right now. And in these 3 videos, I was talking about how you can really reach a really good foundation of the Japanese language within 18 months, which is in this case actually 1 year and 6 months. And so if I would have to represent that in percentage, for example, let's assume that 100% would mean like complete fluency, then I would say if you would follow my tips that I was giving in those 3 videos, then actually you can really reach, I would say you can maybe reach like 75% of your language journey. So between B1 and B2, which is really awesome. I mean, 1 year and 6 months, that's not long at all. If you would have reached those so-called, I would say 75%, what about the rest? Just keep increasing your input. You should not see Japanese as a foreign language. You should see it as a tool which enables you to learn other things. For example, if you're interested in mathematics or if you're interested in martial arts, for example, like that, then why not watching those videos in Japanese and use Japanese as a tool so that you can learn other skills? Or for example, you could also use Japanese to watch some documentaries. You know, that you watch, for example, a documentary about, I have no idea, about a shark. And you can watch that in Japanese. And the main focus is not the Japanese language, but the main focus is how he's alive as a shark, for example. That's awesome. Or for example, you should also use Japanese, to read something. For example, if there's a book you're interested in and there's also a Japanese version, why not using Japanese as a tool which enables you to read this content, So what I want to say is that if you have, for example, reached the intermediate plateau, I would say, from that point on, if you really want to reach high fluency, just use Japanese as a tool. Just only use Japanese as a tool so that you can also increase your input, which in this case can be, for example, watching a documentary or for example watching some videos to learn new skills or read a book or maybe a novel, I don't know. I just want to tell you that the Japanese language should stop being foreign to you and should start becoming familiar to you. You should start normalizing using Japanese as a tool. This is really important if you really want to overcome this intermediate plateau. Another thing that I've learned after 5 years of learning Japanese is the effortless listening. I mean, it is so crazy. The thing is, if you keep increasing your input, for example, you keep watching videos or films or whatever, then at the same time, you also increase drastically your listening comprehension. If you keep doing that, for example, for another 3 years, listening has become so effortless. I mean, for example, actually it was 2 months ago, I was in a train going to Amsterdam and there were some Japanese people, so Japanese travelers, they were talking to each other Japanese. It is so crazy how normal it has become to me to understand everything what they were saying, They didn't even know that I could understand Japanese. Actually, at that time, I was just, I think I was looking at the window, I was only looking at the outside, but at the same time I could understand everything what they were saying. And the thing is, I was not even trying to understand it, And this is effortless listening. Or for example, when I'm listening to some different Japanese songs, without even trying, I almost always understand the song completely. And even if there are some words I didn't understand, I could somehow understand the whole meaning of that due to the context. And this is really important, okay? It is not important to know every word, but thanks to the context, it is really easy to understand the message. If you're able to understand songs without even trying to understand it, then you've reached really a high level of fluency, because especially with songs, they do not use everyday vocabulary. Actually, they use very difficult words so that they can also express themselves in a very creative way. And it is so rewarding just being able to understand that. You have to imagine, for example, 5 years ago, I was not able to understand anything, and now 5 years later, 5 years and 2 months later, it has become second nature. I'm not even trying, I understand everything. Okay, not everything, I would say, 95%, because the other 5% is, there are some word combination which is really difficult to understand, but guys, 95%, this is crazy. And this without even trying. If you really reach this effortless listening, then you've reached high fluency of this language. Not only in songs, but also when people are talking to each other, or for example, movies. I could remember, for example, my sister and her boyfriend, they were, for example, watching an anime show, and they were sitting in the kitchen, and I was in my bedroom, just trying to sleep. And the thing is, even though I was not watching with them the show, I still couldn't understand what the anime characters were talking about without even having to watch it, because I could picture everything what they were saying just only by listening. This is what happens if you keep believing in yourself, in your Japanese language journey. Take a lot of time. After 5 years, you can really get those results after 5 years if you do not live in Japan. Another thing is also that you should, I would say, it might sound a little bit weird, but you don't really have to increase your speaking time. I'm being honest. And why? Because the thing is, it's not only for Japanese, but it's for all the other languages, also for English, I haven't spoken a lot of English recently. The thing is, I keep listening to in English, or for example, I keep reading some things in English, but speaking to native speakers, actually, I almost never do that. And still, I can speak English. And so about Japanese, that's the same thing, Even though I keep increasing my input, actually, my output is very low, because the thing is that I only start speaking Japanese whenever I feel like it. And the thing is, thanks to my input that I've been listening or that I've been reading, somehow it has become second nature to me how to say this phrase correctly, how to say that correctly, etc. Why? Because the thing is, when you listen to something or read something, the brain, it has to work a lot. The brain has to know what is the correct pattern and how does the grammar work, etc. And the thing is, when the brain is able to do that effortlessly, then actually speaking will also become effortlessly easy. Also for me, even after 5 years and 2 months learning Japanese, even for myself, I can tell you right now if this person speaks Japanese naturally or not. Why? Because I've been exposed to this language, Again, I've been only using this language as a tool. And also for me, Japanese has stopped being foreign to me. And about speaking, okay, so the last time I spoke Japanese, it was last week. But then before this conversation, actually last time it was 2 months ago. And this is really crazy because, between 2 months, I wasn't speaking Japanese at all. But then when I had my recent conversation with my friends, it has become second nature to me, completely normal. I know how this sentence structure functions, etc., etc. So again, about speaking time, so in my own experience, I would say it's not really that important. Of course, you can increase it, but you don't have to, actually, to be honest. Why? Because, if you understand everything, then actually your brain automatically also knows how the sentence works. And also, again, guys, it's quite important. I've been doing that now for over 5 years, Of course, during this time, I was talking to some people, and the thing is, that I also recognize also all the patterns, which leads me to my last point about the grammar. If you really want to reach high fluency, I would say that grammar isn't important anymore. Why? Because the thing is, again, how the sentence works. You know when something sounds naturally or not. And so when you know everything about that, then actually grammar it's not that important anymore. Because the thing is, Japanese has stopped being foreign. I have normalized using Japanese, which is really good. And also, recently I went to the National Library here in Luxembourg, and also there was a Japanese grammar book. I took it, and when I was looking at it, it is so crazy. But guys, I have to tell you something. All the grammar rules written in this book, those were not new to me. Actually, I knew already how it works. Why? Because of my inputs. So actually, all of these grammars, nothing was new to me. Nothing was new to me. I already knew everything of that. And this is so rewarding, because the thing is, when you know everything about the grammar, then there's no point in learning the grammar. And this is so nice. This is really the final message I would like to give you. When you've been learning Japanese for a long time, like me, for over 5 years, so 5 years or 2 months, actually, you will even forget that you've once been a beginner. You will even forget how life was without Japanese. Why? Because you will start normalizing this language, and also it will be impossible for you not to understand Japanese. And the thing is, whenever I go out with some people, with new people, I never tell anyone that I can speak Japanese. Why? Because it has become normal to me. Guys, just imagine like this, okay? For example, I'm from Luxembourg. And since I'm from Luxembourg, I don't say anyone that I can speak Luxembourgish. Why? Because it's quite obvious. I'm from Luxembourg, so of course I can speak Luxembourgish. And the same thing for Japanese, Japanese has been so normal to me that I don't even feel the need to tell anyone that I can speak Japanese. And this is so interesting. The thing is, it is always my friends who tell other people that, yeah, I can speak Japanese. But if my friends aren't there, no one knows it. I mean, I've met so many new people, and till today, no one even knows I can speak Japanese. When I was hanging around with other people completely alone. Why? Because I don't feel the need to say it. I don't feel the need. So again, what can we learn from that? We can learn that it is completely possible to reach a high fluency in a foreign language, which is completely distant from yours. But at the same time, you should also know that it will take a lot of time, okay? So I would say 5 years is completely realistic. Yeah, 5 years is completely realistic. Why? Because, I mean, guys, 5 years, it is a long time. And you can do a lot of things during 5 years. But the most important part is that you should really reach a point where Japanese stops being foreign to you, and where you normalize things, and also that you don't feel the need of saying I can't speak this language, because for you it's normal, okay? Thank you very much for watching my video, and see you next time, okay? Bye.